Hello, dear friends. This is John Butler, and you're about to listen to a podcast called Running the River. This is a new podcast that I have put together with my dear friend Dingo Spender. He may recall helped me with the last podcast I made for my album Home. Here again, we deconstruct and get under the skin and get our hands dirty in the substrate soil of what I was envisioning for this latest ambient album. This is an album I made for wellness practitioners and practitioners alike to defrag and decompress in this very busy, fast, and quick world. And we hope you enjoy as we take you up, down, and across the river. This is Running the River.
So yeah, I would love, please tell us about the chronology. Like what got you here? What led to this? What led us here?
Yeah. Where do I start? Because it's all some kind of Venn diagram that's all overlaying and intersectional. Yeah. So, yeah, having the idea for a long time, sitting out there on the back burner. At some point, I'll do it. I'll get around to it one day. I will. I would. I should. I could. And go back 4 or 5 years. It was interesting. It was the beginning of an interesting time, and basically, I've been with some band members, over 11 years, 12 years, like more than I've ever been with any other band member. Byron Lueders, fantastic bassist, great individual, and Grant Guthrie in drums. And then I added a couple of new players for Home as well, and that went well. But at the same time, after 10 or 14 years on the road, other people want to do other things. They have lives and they have their own journey and their own path, and life leads them in different directions. And those getting to those points, and including myself, and sometimes getting to those points are not always a straight line, and they're not always clean either. And it's simple. For me, I have a propensity to overcomplicate in my mind, and also situations, and read and put narratives over the top of things, and see the whole world that way. I'm sure I'm not the only one. So without going into any of the details, because I think all participants and all players are all fantastic people, including myself, and we all do our best and did our best, and we all also added our ingredients to the mojo and the gumbo that turned into those last months of the last incarnation of the trio, and I found that difficult. Like I always do. I find those things kind of testing, traumatic, challenging. They stay with me a long time. If you ask my partner, it's like it's a thing. And I put together another band in record time to finish my European and American commitments that I did want to finish, with like some great players like Alana Stone on keys and vocals, OJ Newcomer on bass and keys, Terapi Richmond on drums. I put this band together in 2 weeks, and by the end of 2 months, we were headlining Red Rocks again for the 5th time. And, it was like, whoa, there was a lot that happened there. And like afterwards, I was just like, and after this, I'm going to stop, not make any commitments to any new members, new bands. I'm going to go solo for a few years, and just, whoa. Relationships seemed complex, difficult, scary. I was a bit tapped out being a band leader, an employer, a mate, living on a submarine. I've been touring for over 25 years. I was dealing with anxiety throughout the whole thing that would come and go pretty intensely. And I was just a bit cooked. And so I said, yes, I will go off the road. And around the last few albums, I've been working with GarageBand and trying to teach myself how to engineer really gently. And then I was like, I'm going to get Logic. So I got Logic, and I was like, well, the first thing I should do is make this ambient album. It's really simple, just like simple stuff. Don't try really heavy. So I started making stuff, and it was cool and exciting, and And I was like, oh, that's sick. And how about I just put a little beat to that, little guitar beat to that? I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm like, why don't I just back that little guitar beat up with a little MIDI kick? And I'm like, ooh, why don't I just put a little synthesizer? And it was, long story short, all of a sudden I was in another studio that I'd built in our spare place on the land. That's like a little small outboard studio space that was already there. And I was in full-fledged, I'm making an album by myself, full production, don't know what the fuck I'm doing, having a ball, sitting up to 4 o'clock every morning, making stuff, and excited by the process. Tracks everywhere, not knowing how to crossfade, just going for it and having fun and trying to achieve some Kevin Parker thing of yeah, I'll make an album by myself. Why not? Never engineered. Don't know really what the hell I'm doing. Crossfading into something, and why not? I've only worked with professional engineers that have dedicated their life to the craft of engineering my whole career. Why can't I do that? And met myself in it.
Yeah.
But in amongst that, Dan, my partner, and his father and my father had both been dealing with long-term chronic illness that had come to a head. And just shortly before I got Logic and started doing that, and something else kind of majorly pivotal and massive precedent in our lives is COVID dropped. So COVID dropped. I'm at home. We're all at home. We're all not working. And, I'm recording a bit at home. I'll make this ambient album. And our dads fall very ill, like long time coming. And now we're doing palliative care. I'm thankful for this moment. Pray for my people, all my family. Not worry about tomorrow. I'm thankful for this moment. Pray for my people, all my family. Not worry about tomorrow. In a short time, within a week, Dan was gone in lockdown Victoria, in the family home with all of her 5 siblings, and was all of her 4 siblings, and literally they'd gone back to the family unit looking after the patriarch of the family. 1 week later, my dad is finally told by a nurse, you have to have care now. And my dad had been kind of couch surfing and they call it furniture surfing, where you can't walk properly and you're walking to the next object to lean yourself on. And I'd been saying, Dad, I think it's time to come home and let me look after you, get some care. And he finally succumbed to that. And so in amongst that, Dan's gone now in lockdown in a pretty intensive situation, doing palliative care at home. And within a week of that, I've emptied our whole room. I've put it wherever it would fit, somewhere else. I emptied my whole dad's living room into a trailer and took it 3 hours down south to Margaret River and made his living room into my bedroom.
Wow.
And then gave him care for the next month before he passed away. Danielle and my father, Danielle's dad, Nicholas, and my father passed within 40 hours of each other. Wild. Both in lockdown. So that happened. And then they passed, the strain of that, the surrealness of that, raising 2 teenage kids, 23 years of marriage, and being on the road, band kind of breaking up in a way that was very confusing and complex, and, I'm kind of post-funeral, we're all a little bit shell-shocked, and I'm sitting with this music trying to make it, and it's getting more and more complex, and the computer's struggling more to actually even do the right thing. I don't know where sounds are coming from anymore. And I am just starting to swim in my attention deficit and whatever trauma or PTSD that lurks around, and the anxiety were just starting to ping, and I couldn't see the forest through the trees. And through that kind of 1.5 years, 2 years, I was kind of I was very soberly humbled and kind of brought back to bare basics and kind of not knowing if I had it in me anymore to do what I do, to do what I wanted to do. Even though the songs were still coming, even though they're like, hey, John, we're here. Can you bring us to life so people can hear them, kind of thing. I talk to the songs. But I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm not thinking about, like, I got these songs, like, they're not solo songs. It's like they're band songs. I hear them. I hear how they want to be. And I'm like, I've been so stripped bare, cleaned off. I've lost confidence. I've been really humbled by all of it, like 20 years of interesting and amazing and not amazing behavior in a marriage, raising 2 amazing kids, going through big times in life, 2 fathers dying at the same time, adrenal fatigue, but all that kind of stuff, just and then just like feeling lost in the only thing that I thought I kind of like that was giving me some kind of solace. I was just like, okay, I don't know if I got what it takes to do much of it, of any of it, and that was extremely humbling and a real like zeroing off calibration that of course was necessary. But I was like, how could I possibly ever lead a band again? How could do I even have it anymore? I'm not as naive and cocksure and abrupt and kind of insensitive as I used to be. I'm not insensitive. I'm highly sensitive, but in the sense that you need a certain kind of naivety. Like, so the more you know about human relations, the more nuanced you have to get. And I didn't think I had the skills. To deal with the complexity of how sensitive I am and how many stations seem to be on and blaring at once with my attention span. So I was like, how could I possibly get back then? I said, well, let's just work backwards a little bit because these songs are not leaving you alone. Let's work backwards. How simply can we make the path back?
Yeah.
And that whole idea of SMART, that SMART acronym of, I don't know what it is, like set a goal, measurable, achievable, RT. I don't know what they are. It was like, what's the simplest thing I can do? I'm not listening to the things I've been working on for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I can't listen to it. It's making me anxious. Fucking whoa. I'll start with the ambient album.
Beautiful.
I can maybe just do that. And then I was like, in amongst that, now we're post-COVID and all that, I'd worked with James Ireland for just 2 days. It was like a meeting just to see if we might do something together for songs. And it was a really easy couple of days not being on the tools and being just on the instruments. Yes. And I was like, oh, that's right. Engineers are sick. And he was also a producer. And so I was like, in amongst this gumbo of thought, something started to crystallize. And it was like, okay, there's this band that I want to have one day. I'm compelled to have it. I want to have it. I need to have it. But I can't go there now. Let's start at the beginning. Make this ambient album. You need to heal. You actually need to heal. You're fucking fried, bro.
Yeah.
Now's the time to make this music. Not for necessarily, I mean, yes, of course, to share, but first for yourself.
Yeah.
As a tool of coming back to how simple the process can be of recording, how simple music can be without all the complexities and overlays. And once that happened, the next thing happened is, well, I want to make this instrumental album. The instrumental album is something that's very much connected to the intros of the songs and to some of the journeys of the music of the trio. And I was like, so it was like heal, begin again. First album was an instrumental album that I used to play on the street. I was like, heal, begin again. Yes, start again. So instrumental album. Then I'll do this solo kind of guitar beat album that I want to do. And then I'll be through all that, slowly, baby steps, I'll be able to have a band again. And so what cool. I saw was 4 seasons. And the way my mind works, it needs story and narrative. You can tell me data until the cows come home. And I'll be like, yeah, I understand you. And yes, I understand that. But to feel something, to really integrate it as a concept and an idea, and it has to be conceptual. I have to have a story. You want to teach me something about math or anything or scales, give me a story, give me a shape, give me a color, give me a feeling, give me a story, give me a history, and I'll build something around it. That's what I need. That's how my version of ADHD works. And that's and the minute I had those 4 seasons, I was like, oh, clear. And I also had this moment of clarity. I don't know if I had a good amount of serotonin or dopamine in my body at the time. Having worked with James, it's like, I'm going to call 2 people right now and see if they're free to do the ambient album and the instrumental album. And on the same day, in the same hour, I texted Dave Mann, a fantastic musician, engineer, producer, songwriter, performer, who lives in Margaret River. He's like, anybody who knows Dave Mann knows he's actually the man. He can literally do anything.
He's the Renaissance man.
And he does it well. And he's a humble gentleman.
Forging steel tools.
Making house trucks. Sailing across.
Sailing.
Yeah, just you name it.
Playing guitar like a
demon. Singing,
writing songs, engineering albums, raising kids.
Just the whole lot. Homeschooling. Like,
package.
It's just like, stop it. Okay. Like,
I know. Chill.
Really, like...
And he's a mountain of a man. He's 6 foot.
He's 6'5".
Yeah,
you know, there's a lot. I mean, it's surprising anybody likes him.
Dave, if you're listening to this, just ignore that bit.
So I sent him thing going, I'm free in these dates. Like, I just had that clarity, that you have those clarities.
Yeah.
Especially for me, it's like I get these moments of clarity. Like, I can see the whole matrix for a second. It's opened up and I'm like, I'm going to pounce. And I opened up my diary. I'm like, I'm free in these dates. I'm just going to try him. He lives in Margaret River. This is, and I'm going to call somebody else called a good friend of mine, Katie Tunstall, who's a fantastic musician, engineer, songwriter, just badass woman, boss woman. And, I knew I had this gig in Miami on Michael Frente's Soulshine cruise solo, and I was like, I could maybe go to New Mexico where she lives and record this thing. So I sent them both at the same time, you guys free? Are you guys free? And they both write me back within an hour going, yeah. And I was like,
okay,
it's on. And that's kind of
ask and you shall receive.
That was the journey to get to that moment. I had to go through so much breakdown. And literally, and literally be 20 songs deep into multi-tracked songs and walk away from it all.
Yeah.
And then go, yeah, right. I need to actually work with somebody else. Fuck.
Yeah.
God damn it. Oh, I really wanted to do the Kevin Parker thing because I just wanted to stay the fuck away from people.
Yeah.
They were just too hard, like complex. And I knew I was as well. And I was like, no. Now we're starting to heal. Work with people.
Yeah.
Work with safe, kind, powerful, humble badasses, and Dave Mann was first port of call.
Can I just say as well, you at some point in this 20-track huge, I actually came in for a couple of, was it maybe 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah, you did. We did some stuff as well together.
You were like the wrestler on the ropes reaching out to tag someone into the ring, and I was just like on the side going, come man, just tag me in. So I flew over.
Yeah.
And, from my perspective, like the work you've done there, like it's epic. It's big, it's huge, and I can't wait till we get there, to this cycle. This season has passed, and I also want to respect that 100% understandable that this beautiful journey of like rebuilding yourself to get to that level of complexity is absolutely understandable, because then you can serve it without it feeling like it's a burden to you. It's just you're going to have the tools to deliver it and to do it the service that
the things that needed to be prioritized first, and I was jumping the gun.
Yeah.
I was jumping the gun, and the music was like, okay.
It's big music.
You can, but let's see how you go.
Yeah.
And it's like the music always knows. It was just like, have a shot. And I learned amazing things along the way. And I think failure is an amazing, amazing gift and tool and to meet yourself. And also, I like to think I'm pretty empathetic and like pretty, self-conscious and aware, but it did definitely gave me, just even another level, on just the appreciation of the skill of engineers, and, and I knew that, but once again, I got to feel that.
Yeah, that's a very different lesson.
I got to really feel it.
It's a different lesson, isn't it?
Yeah, and just going, oh, okay, yeah, there's some things I'm better at and some
Yeah.
things I'm not good at. And now we're talking about energy. Where am I going to be the most efficient? Where am I going to be the most potent? Yes, learn this on this, learn that thing, but like, is it going to best serve you for now? Maybe maybe that self-produced, self-recorded things down the track. This is a journey, and you're still reeling, bro.
Yeah.
You're still like trying to work out real simple primordial shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go back.
Yeah.
Go back to the drawing board of your life schematics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a circle coming all the way around with a whole new understanding. It's not there's nothing. It's not like you're starting from scratch. You're coming, but it's like the context is that it's a renewal. Like the beginning is the end is the beginning. It's that beautiful circle coming around, but this time you've got all this new understanding, this new capacity to begin again and be humble again.
Yeah, and there had to be a lot of death. I think there had to be a lot of death. The death of the band, death of confidence, death of family members, death of art, recordings, a death within the marriage, I think, or even to be honest to say, a death of old ways.
Yeah.
In order to forge new ways, it was a real, this, whatever you want to call it, lifetime, the universe. It was like, it was kind of nudging me in directions. Yeah. And then, I am at times obstinate, stubborn, and stupidly, not stupendously, but stupidly loyal to an idea, a cause, to people, to myself, to a concept. And I just stuck with something that I knew had to change and that was wanting to change, and had all the different organelles of it was wanting to change, not just me. And finally it just said poop and just kind of pushed me out of the nest, and it was a rough landing. And
I just want to also just give it that sense of like the experience you've just explained and like what you've been through is such a broader experience for so many people about the kind of the gift of what COVID kind of gave us as well. It was a death for so many people of old ways, and having to deal with our own shadows and take responsibility for stuff. And we all did it in different ways, people changed jobs, people left partners, people moved houses, people, it forced us to deal with our shit. And in your case, like it's you as any true artist does, you turn to your art as the place to synthesize all that you were working through. Yeah,
transmute.
Exactly.
And to discern and almost decode it all. Yeah, I mean, it's the great unveiling. That's what I called COVID.
Yeah.
It was just a whole bunch of stuff we knew was behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And something just was like, yo.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with this shit?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it all came out.
Yeah.
It wasn't just COVID, BLM, just like, the vax, just everything just came to the fore and crested with social media. And I think all in all, there was a great unveiling that happened. I can't speak for everybody else. But what I noticed, and I do have my own take on pattern recognition, is that it seemed to happen for a lot of other people, and it definitely happened for myself. And it was a great unveiling, a great zeroing off, a calibration, whether we all liked it or not, or whether I liked it or not. And that set the bed for it to begin the process in the first season.